One of the best and the public's favorite drivers of the Silver Arrows, who even got the nickname King of the Mountains, Hans Stuck became fascinated with going as fast as possible, not around a track or in a hill climb like he had mastered, but purely going as fast as possible in a straight line. Being a driver for Mercedes, he asked them if he could help him by creating the fastest land-going vehicle. This got the attention of Adolf Hitler, who was a fan of Hans Stuck and very interested in the project. He was interested because he wanted to show German dominance and prove how good Germany was at engineering to the world. A team was quickly formed to accomplish this goal. The team was made up by William Kessel, the chairman of the board of management on Daimler-Benz AG, now Mercedes-Benz, the engineer Ferdinand Porsche, who would later found Porsche and work on other cars at this time, such as the Volkswagen, and the Air Force General Ernst Udet. They all set a target to reach a speed of 600 kilometers an hour, something that would be truly remarkable for that time. Hans wasn't the only one at this time who wanted to push the barriers of possibility in the realm of land speed records. During German record weeks, different prototypes of Grand Prix cars that were more streamlined would try to reach the top speeds and would reach top speeds of 300 kilometers an hour. But on the other side of the world, in the Salt Flats in the United States, the English were doing something similar. In 1939, Job Cobb set a record of 595 kilometers per hour in his Thunderbolt that had two engines. This was too close to the initial target of the 280 of 600 miles an hour. So the team from Germany pushed the target all the way up to 650 kilometers an hour, trying to show true dominance over the English engineers. When working on this project, the engineers had to make every bit of engineering correct, no shortcuts. Because of how fast this car was planned to go, they wouldn't use a normal engine or even an engine from a Mercedes race car because that would be far too unpowered. The British race cars used two engines, but the Germans got their power plant for the T80 from a plane engine. Mercedes was making planes for the government at this time, and they used their own Mercedes-Benz DB601 aircraft engine. The engine ran on a mixture of alcohol, methyl, benzene, acetone, nitrobenzene, and avgas. But the 44-liter A-style V12 cylinder engine created 3,500 horsepower after some tuning to the engine, and they called this engine the DB603. While the engineers were working on the engine, the design was being created by Ferdinand Porsche. He created a design that would have three axles, two underneath the engine, that was very heavy, so it could put the power to the ground as fast as possible. The car had a very large steering wheel. The T80 had no power steering, so the large steering wheel helped with steering. Because the engine had an A arrangement with the cylinder heads facing down, the body styling could be very close to the engine and be aerodynamic. The wings on the side of the car were inspired by Opel's RAK. All the designs were slightly altered after the team used the Zeppelin wind tunnel with a scale model to get the measurements right. It was very hard to get everything right, because if they had too much downforce, it would be too slow and would never reach the target. But if it had too little, the car would flip. At the end, the wings were reduced to only 3.65 meters squared. In the back of the car was given an early diffuser to help put the car on the ground. The German government was originally going to test their car on the Salt Flats, like the British did before them. This was because the Salt Flats were the best place to do top speed runs. But the German government didn't think it would be a good idea to bring their newest technology to the United States, which they were opposed to. and they wanted to show off their new Autobahn. So they planned for the T80 to be tested on the Autobahn near Dessau, where there was a 10-kilometer straight, and the road was almost 30 meters wide, and none of the bridges had a center beam. They were planning on showing the world the German superiority through TVs in January of 1940. Unfortunately, this would never happen. The Second Great War would start September 1st, 1939, and the T80 would be put back into storage. The engine and other pieces would be taken out and given back to Mercedes in the Ministry of Aviation. The car never being tested makes it one of the biggest ifs in history. Would it be capable of getting to the feet of 650 kilometers? Or would it even break the record set by the British racers earlier? Or would it crash? The world will never know. Luckily, the T80 survived the war, being stored in Austria, and later, in 2006, it would be on permanent display in the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart, Germany. Recently, with the ability to see the T80's frame and design closer, Channel 4, using Silverstone-based Total Sim, used models of the car, and they revealed that the T80 would almost certainly be able to reach the speed that the engineers were going for. But they also revealed one major flaw that could have ended the project in flames. The lift in the front combined with the downforce in the back would have made the car flip. This means that the car that was meant to show German superiority in engineering would most likely end up the 8-meter long car flipping through the air, a complete embarrassment to Germany. Even though they predicted the car would flip, it doesn't mean that it also wouldn't have broken its record. The Mercedes T80 is one of the biggest what-ifs in history, and there is very little known about what would have actually happened if the car was tested. It's too bad it was never tested, but maybe that's a good thing, because now anyone can go see it in the Mercedes Museum, just the amazing piece of technology that it is, now hanging on a wall. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. You clearly enjoyed it, so leave a like, subscribe, and have a good day.